Eco Retreat in Great Cape in West Virginia. My name is Rich Shattuck. I'm the owner along with my wife Teresa. We bought the property here 7 years ago in 2012. But the concept of Three Otters came from 28 years ago when I met my wife in grad school. She's in public health, and she framed the whole concept of a place in the wilderness where people could come, get back to nature, and spend time with their friends and family and nature. So we bought the property. We named it Three Otters because we were taking a walk on the towpath on the other side of the river, and there we saw 3 otters sitting on a log, 2 adults and a baby. Took a picture of it. We added that to our name of, we had a whole list of names for the property, but we kept coming back to Three Otters. So that's how the name got here. We've been coming up to this area on the Potomac River and another river called Great Cape, the Cape River in Great Cape, which is about 15 miles away. We've been coming up here for about 24 years. We bought a cabin the same year that my son was born. He's 23, so we've had it for 23 years. And we've been bringing family and friends up to that cabin to get in the river, to get out in the woods. And like I said, about 7-8 years ago, we decided to try to do it on a more formal basis and run it as a small business. When we bought the property, there was a cabin here, and we had electricity and running water, and the green shed was here. Everything else we have brought in since. And what we tried to do was create some neighborhoods. So right now we're in our yurt neighborhood. We have 3 yurts. Down the path is our 10 cottage neighborhood. Behind us is our pop-up neighborhood. Then we have a vintage trailer neighborhood. And then we try to create some common spaces like the river kitchen and the grill pavilion and the overlook deck so people could gather. They would spend their nights in the structures, but most of their time was outdoor in the river or hanging out in those common areas. We've had, this is our 5th season having guests. We've had 10 weddings held out here. We've had a lot of family reunions, a lot of friends gatherings, and then just groups just like yourself that are coming out here, just everybody sort of wanting to get away a little bit and be together and be outdoors. And so that's the sort of background of Three Otters. All right, thanks for the questions about Three Otters. So first, we're right on the Potomac River, and we've got a 1/4 mile of riverfront. All right, and it ends down here at this old trestle, which was the Western Maryland Railroad that stopped running in 1971. All right, the rest of the property, we've got, the field is a couple acres, but the whole property is 14 acres. Some of it is open and some of it is wooded. And we have 2 acres on the other side of the dirt road that you came in on. All right, so what we did was we wanted to have some yurts, some vintage trailers, some pop-ups. The yurts, one of the yurts came from Pacific Yurts, which is out in Oregon. So we shipped all the way from Oregon. The other 2 came from Colorado. And they come on a big tractor trailer, just like you'd see all over the road. They come down that dirt road, and they're delivered, they're all bundled up. And for the yurts, when you open it up, you pull the main part of the yurt, it sort of opens up like an accordion in a big round circle. And then you put the top on and the sides on and stuff. The vintage trailers we bought, 2 of them we bought from a guy in Pennsylvania. His hobby is saving vintage trailers from going into the landfill. So he finds them and he refurbishes them. We bought 2 from him. We bought 2 from a couple down in Richmond, Virginia. And another one we bought, the little white and green one. I'm not sure who's living in that one. But we bought that from a family on the other side of Berkeley Springs. They had been living in there for a year, a family of 5. They lived in there for a year while they were building their own yurts. So it's pretty small in there for a family of 5, right? What were some of your other questions?
How do you maintain the camp?
Okay, yeah, good. Well, I think you've seen my daughter Casey. She works for us. My wife and I, my son used to work for us, now he's got another job. At the end of the dirt road, as you start up the hard pack, going up the mountain, you'll see a house when you leave on the left that has a bunch of Halloween decorations in the yard. I don't know if you saw that when you came in, but there's a young couple that lives there, Shane and Tavia. And Shane is, he's responsible for doing all the grounds, and Tavia is responsible for our housekeeping. and then Shane's brother Derek works for him, and I'm here most of the time working, and like I said, my daughter Casey, and she's got a couple of friends, particularly this guy named Dan. He'll come up on the weekends and help when we have guests. Okay, what other questions you got for me?
Do you live here all year?
I do not. No, we live here. I lived here like this year. I came up starting at the beginning of March, and this is our last weekend having guests. So whenever we had guests, I'd be here 4 or 5 days a week, and then my wife would be here some of the time. My daughter would be here some of the time. We actually live in Mount Airy, Maryland, which is near Frederick, Maryland, about 2 hours away. And we also have that other cabin I was talking about earlier. That's about 30 miles away. I mean, 30 minutes away. And so sometimes I will stay there at night because it has internet access, so I can get online, check my email, catch up on the news and stuff.
What activities do you have, like boating and like fishing?
Yeah, so there's some great small fishing for smallmouth bass. Okay, anywhere from like small size, but this fall I caught a couple about this big, and that was pretty exciting. Also catfish. Some of the guests that we have like to catch catfish, and they know how to clean them and cook them and stuff. We do a lot of tubing. So we have a lot of tubes. Like your group, we wouldn't get everybody out, but we've had groups of about 36, 40 people floating down the river. And then we have kayaks and canoes that people take out, and we'll teach you how to kayak if you don't know how. If you're really adventurous, we will actually take you upriver and then put you in, and you can float down. We have a 4-mile float trip, and we have an 11-mile float trip.
Also, some of the other wildlife in the forest.
Yeah, so everybody asks about wildlife. We have a lot of deer. All right, I don't know if anybody's seen deer on the property. We've had a lot of rabbits. We have some foxes and coyotes. A bald eagle flew down the river a little while ago. I don't know if you saw that when it flew down. Yesterday it flew up the river, and then today it flew down. That's kind of cool. We haven't had any bears on the property, but a couple of years ago I saw a bear in the water down on the other side of the bridge. That was pretty cool. And then one time when I was driving home, I saw a baby cub sitting next to a tree on the side of the road, and the mom was on the other side. And when I stopped, the mom was giving me definitely like, "Hey, leave my kid alone," kind of thing. Other questions?
How do you feel about having a place where people can come and enjoy the outdoors?
Oh yeah, we think it's fantastic. That's why we created the space. Your group's a perfect example. Just a bunch of people, friends. People got to know each other through work, and then their families got to know each other. Got to play board games or whatever, and just be together.
Hey guys, this is Adaptive Films, and we just had an interview with Mr. Rich. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and now we'll be giving you a rundown and a video about the structures in different places around the camp. And before that, I'll be showing you a paper that gives you the directions on how to get to 3 Otters Riverside camp. Okay guys, so these are the directions. So you can like pause right now and take like a picture or a screenshot or memorize them or write them down. So the close view. Okay. Now we'll try to give you a structure overview.